Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the end of year book tag. So I was not technically tagged by anyone, but I thought this would be a really fun way to kind of get us thinking about the end of the year, get me thinking about what books I still need to read, what things I still have yet to accomplish, and I really liked the questions that were asked. So without further ado, let's get into the tag. The first question is, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? Definitely. The only one that comes to mind per se though is Wayward Son by Rainbow Rowell. I had intended to read this right when it came out, but unfortunately I decided that I was going to read this for a video instead. So I put it on pause because some of the other books that I'm reading for that video are super long, and I just decided I can hold off. It was weird because I was so anticipating this, and I still am, but I think maybe some of the negative reviews have gotten to me, and so I am less concerned with finishing this right away, but I definitely anticipate reading this before 2019 is over. Another book that I really need to finish is New Moon by Stephanie Meyer. If you guys have been following my channel for a while, I started reading this with my boyfriend this year. He's now my fiance, and we still have not finished it. So I think we started this god back in like January, and I was a little bit depressed reading this, so we had to put a pause on our podcast where we read, you know, the Twilight Saga, among other things, but I have some big plans for that podcast. I'd also really like to just see this off of my currently reading, so hopefully I can finish this by the end of the year. Hopefully we can get the remaining episodes out for this fucking book, continue on with the series, and then continue on with another series. So the next question is, do you have an autumnal book to transition you into the rest of the year? So for me, there's a few books that I've had on my shelves for a while that I always tell myself, oh, I'm gonna read it like when the weather's cold, because the settings of the books are cold or fall leaning. The first one that comes to mind is the Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater. It is like the 3rd of November when I'm filming this. Shh, don't tell anyone. But this book takes place on November 1st. It's got a fall setting, and I definitely want to read this in November because it's supposed to be autumnal and there's horses, which like horses scream autumn to me, right? Like fall leaves, horses. And then a book or book series that I would like to be reading in December is The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. This is a series that is set in Russia in the dead of winter, and what better time to read it than in December? I keep telling myself that I'm going to read this book. I think I've had it for God 2 years now, and the reason I've been putting it off is because it's set in December, and then I just never fucking get around to it because it has kind of a historical and or slow moving pace from what I've heard. It is one of my best friend's favorite books, so I feel like I'm obligated to read this year. It's been too long. And then another book that has kind of been hiding for me that I just found somewhere that wasn't on my bookshelf, Vertown by Frederick Bachman. This book is also set, I believe, is it Canada? I don't know, but it's set in the winter, hockey, snow. This definitely is a December read. I know it's a hard-hitting adult contemporary, and I don't know, I just feel like I need to read this year. Is there a new release that you're still waiting on? Obviously. By the time you guys are seeing this video, I will have already read and put out a vlog for this book. It's Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. There's so much to think about, There was a picture circulating on Twitter the other day about how thin this book is compared to the other books in the series. I'm a little bit terrified, but I'm also a little bit excited. I don't know what to think. But The Cruel Prince is one of my favorite series out right now, so I'm really excited to get the conclusion to that, read it in a day or two, and then like put out the vlog. Hopefully my vlog was entertaining. I don't know, I'm filming this before the book comes out, so hopefully it's still just as great as I am hoping it will be in this video. Also tentatively excited for Call Down the Hawk by Maggie Stiefvater. This is a book that I'm only tentatively excited for because I didn't enjoy the final installment in the Raven cycle. It's not a trilogy, there's 4 books, quartet. Ooh, I like that, let's go with that. I did enjoy elements of The Raven Boys. I also recently reread The Raven Boys for the Raven Cycle read-along with Lala, Kat, Elias, and Zoe. I did enjoy it upon reread, so I'm hoping that Call Down the Hawk is everything that I liked about the first series, but done better. One can only hope. I don't have super high expectations, but I'll definitely be picking this up, probably from my library. There's also supposedly a new book from LJ Shen coming out in November. I remember there were ARC signups for this book. I don't know the title or the description or the actual release date. So that's great, but I think it comes out sometime in November. I love LJ Shen's new adult romances, so I am super excited to see whatever she's coming out with. And then I think just in general, new releases for romance, especially indie romance, they don't tell you super far in advance when things are coming out, so I'm sure that there's going to be something else that I highly anticipate that I haven't even heard of yet. The next question is, what are 3 books you want to read by the end of the year? I want to surprise you guys with some of these answers because I think you're all going to just think that they're all adult romances, but no, they're not. The first book that I really want to read before the end of the year is over is Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. I know, shocking. I don't read adult fantasy. I've never read adult fantasy, but I am trying to push myself outside of my comfort zone for the latter half of this year. This book is for a specific video that I'm doing. I'm both scared and excited to start this. I think that's kind of sexy. Hopefully this will treat me as well as my adult romances do. Speaking of adult romance, here's one that I really don't want to fucking read. It's E.L. James's The Mister. This question, what books do I want to read before the year is over? I want to not own this anymore, so I'm going to consider that a book that I want to read. This is, again, for a video, which you will probably have seen before this one comes out. So Hopefully I have read this. Hopefully it's out of my possession by the time you guys see this video. Blessings hopefully never cease. This is a contemporary romance, if you want to call it that, between a guy and his maid, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what this is. I don't really want to read this, but I'd like to not own it anymore, so we're gonna put that on the list. And then third, I think I would like to read Nevernight by J. Kristoff. This is a book that I've been putting off for so goddamn long, and I also kind of wanted to do a reading vlog reading all 3 books in the series, giving my reactions. I really like doing that. I did that for After, I did that for The Beautiful, and those seem to do pretty well on my channel. You guys seem to kind of enjoy those, so I'm hoping to do that sometime. I don't know if it'll happen before the end of the year, but at the very least, I'd like to read Nevernight before the year is over because sexy assassin school, you know? I did get 50 pages into this a while ago. I did like it. I did like that opening sequence, if you will. You know what I'm talking about if you've read this. This is really good. I really like what I've read of this, so I would really like to read the whole thing this year. The next question is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? Hopefully all of my most anticipated books of the year will become new favorites. I'm hoping I love Queen of Nothing. I'm hoping that I like Mistborn quite a bit. I think it would be really surprising if I love an adult fantasy because I think that's going to push me to read more adult fantasy. So I'm hoping that I enjoy that one and the 3 other adult fantasies that I'm trying to read before the year is over. So those are the ones that I'm hoping become new favorites. Will they? I don't know because I haven't read a lot of adult fantasy. How many times can I say adult fantasy? And then the last question is, do you have any reading plans in place for 2020? And you bet your ass I do. I have so many plans. The first one is a video in which I read 27 different romance books. I've already started this video as of, God, I don't know, October, and I'm steadily working on it, although I know it's not going to be posted until February, but I know that at least I have those 27 romance books to read, and that's going to carry me into 2020, so that's, you know, reading plan number 1. Number 2, I really want to read more romance authors that are new to me. In 2020, I have some books down here that I have hauled for you guys before that have romance authors that I've never read before. I would really like to read backlists of different romance authors as well. I really want to be the encyclopedia of romance, if you will. I like that people come to me for romance recommendations, and I want to be able to give you guys uncommon recommendations or things that are less talked about on BookTube, so that's a really big goal of mine of 2020, is to read more backlist, more authors you've never heard of, more authors that have been writing a really long time that we just don't talk about as much, so that's another goal. A third reading plan, like I've told you guys fucking multiple times in this video, I really want to push myself to read different genres that I don't normally read. Some of my favorite reads this year have been in genres that I don't normally gravitate towards, so maybe some more adult fantasy in 2020. I definitely have adult fantasy on my shelves, as you can tell right there. And then lastly, I also want to read the ACOTAR series again. I know. I've only read it once through. I really enjoyed it when I did read it. I'm not a huge Throne of Glass fan, but I did enjoy the ACOTAR series, and I want to reread it for a project that I'm working on. Hopefully I'll get around to that sometime in 2020. So that is it. Those are all the questions for this tag. Let me know down in the comments below what your goals are for the rest of 2019, what you hope to get accomplished in 2020 reading wise as well. Just tell me all of your bookish goals. I'd love to know. But that's it. I love you guys so much, and until next time.